really quick, just please do me a favor and watch the first part of this video, because I am about to get really real with you guys and talk to you guys about some really good shit that I think everybody needs to hear. I feel like I was kind of channeling a little bit, so watch the first half of this video because the signs portion is only going to be very short and quick. So if you want more information, then watch the first half of this video, okay? Thank you. As we could use a lunar eclipse right now with everything else going on in the world. No, anyways, I'm just kidding. Hi, hello, hi everyone. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Tony Michelle, and we are not all love, light, twin flames, and unicorns up in this bitch, so please keep that in mind. Welcome to the Sagittarius lunar eclipse video, okay? In this video, we're gonna go over the lunar eclipse, which is happening this coming week on May 26th at 7 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the morning, okay? Because that's what AM means, right? No, anyways, seriously. So yeah, I know there's a bunch of other crazy shit going on in the world, and it seems very unstable right now, which is like why I really haven't been filming that much here recently, because it just kind of felt like, you know, other things have been pretty fucking crazy. So, but I feel like, you know, there's only so much we can do about that at this time, and also I just, you know, I feel like I can maybe be of service in other ways, like by doing this video possibly. So, you know, anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. I hope you guys are doing well out there, and as always in this video we are basically going to talk about the eclipse, which always remember, just because it's happening this Wednesday, you will start noticing signs of this eclipse and effects from this eclipse beforehand and even after. We are in eclipse season, okay? So which means that this is the first of two eclipses. We will have another eclipse 2 weeks after this eclipse in Gemini. So we are having back-to-back eclipses over the next few weeks. So eclipses are basically really life-changing, altering, fated and karmic events and energy that come into our lives in some kind of way and can push us to new paths, new awareness, and start us in some kind of new beginning or alter our life and path in some way, shape, or form. They are full moons, like amplified basically. So full moons are usually intense. Well, eclipses are even more intense because they are aligned with the nodes in the sky, okay, which are very karmic and fated, and kind of show us where we will have an increase and decrease in energy throughout a certain time period. And so basically that is what is happening. The moon is meeting with the south node and the sun is meeting with the north node. And so we are going to see a lot of fated and massive karmic events over these next few weeks, especially, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. And then once I am done, I am going to go through each sign briefly and tell you what you can expect for this eclipse. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so I am recording my screen because I know a lot of people like when I do that, so you can see what the fuck's going on and see what the fuck is up in the mother effing astrology over in this bitch. Okay, so basically, as you can see here, the moon is at 5 degrees of Sagittarius, 5 degrees off of the south node, okay? And then we have the sun over here at 5 degrees opposite of the moon in Gemini, right next to the north node, 5 degrees off. So this is basically a total lunar eclipse happening in Sagittarius, okay? Which basically means, okay, that this is even that much more powerful. The closer to the nodes that the moon and the sun are when having a full moon or a new moon, means that it will be that much more powerful. The nodes will be playing that much more of a role, okay? So the moon on the south node, okay, let's start with that, right? This is also in Sagittarius. This is a amplified focus of the shadow of Gemini, but also the like karmic habits and traits and emotions and feelings, deep-seated feelings, especially when it comes to Sagittarian energy, right? Now, what is Sagittarian energy? Sagittarius is a fire sign, that is mutable. So wildfire, you know, think wildfire. It spreads easily. It is active oriented, action oriented, motivated. You know, fire shines, fire attracts, fire is expressive, right? And so that's kind of the energy of Sagittarius, you know. Now Sagittarius is also ruled by Jupiter, which just moved into its other home sign of Pisces, which we'll get to in a minute. But because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, it also has this kind of expansive element to it, which already happens with it being mutable fire, but also this kind of learning and educational element to it, kind of the desire to learn, the desire to find meaning in something purposeful through different experiences and you know, different things that happen to us in life. Okay, so Sagittarius really deals with finding meaning and purpose and educating ourselves and looking at our wider views on things. So this is why a lot of the time Sagittarius as a sign will rule things like belief systems, right? Higher education and our world views, the way in which we view the world. It's like our higher kind of view, not just like our perception, which would be more of like Gemini. It's not like just like the way that we think about things. It's more of like what lights a fire in us when we look at certain things. Now that fire can be used for a positive kind of motivation, or it could be used for more shadow-like motivation. So this is where Sagittarius can also be affiliated with like dogmas, you know, especially religious dogmas. It can be affiliated with like religious cult-like energy. It can be affiliated with legalities as well. It can be affiliated with, you know, the downside of belief systems, where we enforce certain belief systems, where we also force certain belief systems on others, and etc., etc. So, and we've been seeing a lot of this since the South Node moved into Sagittarius, which happened around spring 2020. Yeah. So anyways, but basically, yeah, so with the moon here, this is going to make it that much more sensitive, touchy, moody. The belief systems, the dogmas, the views are going to really be amplified with this eclipse over the next couple weeks. We are really going to see a lot of dogmas, and a lot of this is stuff from the past with the South Node that is being brought up and being made to look like it's something new when in fact it's something old. Okay, and this is where Jupiter comes in. This the Jupiter, you know, being the ruler of Sag. It's like expanding your viewpoint and you know, doing the opposite of the Sagittarian game, which is Gemini, which is looking at things from different angles, looking at just the facts and not like trying to infuse your beliefs into everything that you see, which can be very hard right now because we are dealing with this karmic energy of Sagittarius of like everything we see, we want to make it our own. And a lot of people may not know this, but this is a psychological fact that when you believe something, okay, no matter what you do or see, you will try to prove your belief right over and over and over again, instead of actually considering factual evidence or actually considering the proof, etc., etc. And we all do this. We all do this, you know. If we believe something, we will only look at the things that prove it right. Subconsciously, it's not even that we're consciously doing it, it's like subconsciously we're gonna be like, oh, see, you know, and this can be a negative belief or a positive belief. This could be a belief used to put yourself down all day long, or this could be a belief used to build yourself up, you know, or to this could be a belief used to you know, motivate yourself, or this could be a belief used to hate or discriminate against certain people or try to control certain people, you know what I mean? So all of this is going to really come into the spotlight around this time. And it doesn't matter, you know, Sagittarius isn't involved in like, oh, you know, only certain people do this and certain people don't, you know, and that's where, you know, the division really comes in with these two energies, because I believe that, and the reason I'm bringing up a lot of this is because I think a lot of the division that we've seen in the world over the last, year has really been brought on by these Gemini and Sagittarian nodes. Okay, and also when we look back at the past, we can see this as well. Okay, because every time the nodes, most of the time in some way, shape, or form that the nodes have been in these two signs, there has been a lot of division, a lot of philosophical differences of opinion, a lot of, dogmas, a lot of discrimination, a lot of discriminatory acts, a lot of belief systems being pushed on people, a lot of, religious issues and things like that. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, so, and religious is not, I'm not just talking about like the actual religions that we always think of, like Catholic, Christian, all of that. I'm talking about really a lot of things could be a religion that aren't normally considered religion, especially these days, right? But anyway, so with the North Node in Gemini, this is more about what do you think, not what other people are telling you to think with all of this Sag energy. What do you think? And where this lunar eclipse is coming in is there's kind of this shadow of logic, the shadow of not thinking logically, of not considering other sides, of not only being open to factual information, not just only, but being open to new bits of information, being open to different facts, being open to conflicting facts. And we've seen a lot of that too, but there's not necessarily an openness to it because everything is driven off of belief systems. Now, Sagittarius can be very political too because it does deal with the law. It deals with kind of enforcing this kind of righteousness, and this kind of righteousness or this moral kind of high ground can also be affiliated with Sagittarian. Now, I'm not saying all Sagittariuses are like this, so do keep that in mind. Anytime I'm talking in general about a chart, like collectively, I'm never saying, when I talk about a sign, I'm never saying this is what all of these Sagittarians are like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying in a collective sense, these are a lot of the traits that we are already seeing with Sag, and I think we could all agree to that in some way, shape, or form. So with the moon here, with the South Node, right, it's really showing us these habits, these things that we want to cling to, these belief systems, these ideologies, these views, these dogmas, these, all of these things, all of these meanings that we want to cling to keep ourselves safe. Because at the end of the day, that is what a belief system does, right? It keeps us safe. Like if someone were to tell you, oh, the sky is actually not the sky, and you probably wouldn't believe that, right? Why? Because someone has told you that that's the sky. And most of the things that we believe or that we think we know is because someone somewhere along the line told us that. Whether it was a scientist, a doctor, an article, a blog, our parents, whoever, teachers. A lot of it is like, oh, that's a tree, that's a plant, that's a chair, that's a road, that's a stop sign, because we believe that, right? Because someone told us that, right? But if someone were to come out and say, this is not the sky, and I have proof, like a lot of people would get triggered. Because why? Because if that's not the sky, then what is it? And am I in trouble? Am I being threatened now? You know what I mean? That's what it always goes back to, because it's always ego. It's always like, am I not safe now? Is this a threat? Do I need to be worried? Right? And that's really what it is going on in the world right now. People want to believe what they want to believe, because if our belief systems are threatened in any way, what does that mean? Just like religious people want to believe that there's a higher power. Now, I believe that there's a higher power, okay? So I'm not knocking on religious people here, but people that don't believe there's a higher power, right? Like, which they have their own belief system and their own fear around higher power. But like, let's take religious people, for example. They will get super fucking triggered if you try to discredit Bible or whatever they believe in. And because if that's not true, then fuck, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like, it is like, that's scary for them. Like, do I just die and it all goes black? Is that it? There has to be more. And I do believe there's more. I do believe personally that there is that I've had personal experiences where I've felt that there's more. So it's, it's not that I believe it just because a book told me or someone told me. Like I really try to go off my experience, which I believe is the higher octave of Sagittarius, like as we're talking, speaking of which, basically, is to really go off your experience rather than what other people have experienced or what other people are telling you or what everybody else is doing, like that's kind of the, shadow side of all of this. And so with this moon on the south node, oh, hold on, sorry. Let me know if I'm making sense so far down below if you're getting anything from this. But basically, the anti-religious people, or the people that are, I'm kind of anti-religious in a certain sense, but not the anti-religious, but they like the people that are atheist, for example, right? They don't want to believe that there's something, because what does that mean for them if there is? That's a fear for them. So everybody believes something based off of some kind of fear, right? And so that's where beliefs, they're there to keep us safe in a certain way, or they're there because we've we don't know what it would be if they weren't there, right? Like if my experiences don't equate to there being something big, then what is it? You know what I mean? Like, so hopefully that makes sense. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because I think it's very fucking important right now. And like I was saying in the beginning, I've been really consumed with a lot of shit that's going on in the world, and I think we all get there at some point. And because I do feel like it's important to pay attention, and I'm really try to fact check everything that I get into. And if you've been following me on Instagram, I've been sharing a lot of stuff because I feel like it's good to always look at the opposite side that's not being talked about a lot, or that's not being shown a lot, And I don't agree with a lot of what's going on in the world, especially with the people in power and how they're reacting to situations or what they're doing about situations. But that's just me, okay? We can still be friends if you don't agree. I'm not one of those bitches that's gonna get super triggered if you don't agree or think how I know the fucking astrology, and I am trying to embrace the other side of these energies instead of the fear-based shadow side of these energies, okay? And that's why I'm talking to you about this now, trying to help in other ways here, okay? So basically, we've been clinging to some kind of belief system in some way, shape, or form. We've been clinging to some kind of righteous, virtuous, moralistic view about ourselves or about someone else or about a situation or whatever the case may be. And this lunar eclipse is highlighting that. This lunar eclipse is saying, look over here. It's illuminating what's not being seen about the Sagittarius energy in your life, which we're going to get into more detail when we get to the signs. Now, where the fuck is the ruler of this lunar eclipse, which is Jupiter, right? Mr. Santa Claus Jupiter, right? That rules Sagittarius. Well, Jupiter, the guru, is in Pisces. Just stepped in at 1 degrees, 111, hey, for all you angel number people out there, is in a square with this mother effing lunar eclipse up in this bitch, okay? Sorry, I forgot to show you on the screen. So, interesting, right? Now, Jupiter squares are not always like as difficult as like a Mars square would be, because Jupiter squares are Jupiter super benefic. But in this case, I feel like it could kind of go either way. So I feel like what's happening here is this is Jupiter. Jupiter in Pisces is about waking the fuck up and transcending duality, not continuing to live in this back and forth bullshit. Jupiter in Pisces is about healing, alternative healing, holistic healing. It is about waking up, transcending duality. Pisces itself as a sign is about transcending duality. Jupiter, which also rules Pisces, and this lunar eclipse that's happening, is like, look, it's time to step away from this, divisive bullshit, from this self-righteous, you know, virtue signaling, fucking belief systems, dogmas, you know, these old belief systems, or these belief systems that weren't even placed in your mind or in your subconscious by you. And it's time to wake up to a higher viewpoint here, a more, one that's more harmonious, one that's more about the collective, one that's more about us rather than me, you know, one that is more about healing, more about transcending. You know, Pisces is the ultimate love and light, unicorns and twin flame sign. Okay, like Pisces is the literally, it is like the love and light. To me, it is like the love and light, the ultimate love and light sign. You know, it's very empathetic. It just wants to, you know, be loved and unify and help and create and, like, you know, feel, and just all of the you know, nicer, more positive parts of life, okay, that I haven't personally, like, experienced most of my life. I don't have any Pisces in my chart, but it is a beautiful sign that is, I feel like, does not have it easy in today's world at all. None of the water signs do. You know, it's about feeling an emotion. And where does this world leave room for shit like that in today's society? I mean, I'm just fucking saying, you know, like, I'm just fucking saying. It's not about our emotions. It's not about our feelings, right? Like, and no one ever wants to actually be aware or look at their own feelings. It's so much easier to just get triggered and to go the fuck off, or blame somebody else for your issues, or blame somebody else for your feelings, which is bullshit. You know what I mean? Or project your feelings onto somebody else. Okay, but Jupiter is like, no, bitch, we need to wake the fuck up. It is time. It is time to transcend this bullshit. It is time to transcend this lower level toxic human bullshit. Oh my god, fuck no. These are the two cards at the bottom of my deck. And it's funny because I've always thought of the Hierophant. If you don't know, or if you've not been here for a while, I don't really agree with the astrological correlations to the tarot cards. I feel like they're not very, very accurate at all to me. Some of them are, some of them aren't. I've always thought of the Hierophant as Sag energy. Perfect Sag energy here. Okay? We need to wake up to the toxic bullshit that is controlling us through these, like, belief systems. Okay? And that's what Jupiter, I believe, is doing. It is showing us the basically the kind of illusions, the false gurus, the false political systems, the false religious systems. And like I said, religion is not, right now at least, it is not exactly what we're used to seeing with, like, Christianity or Catholicism or whatever. Like, it is not that. It is something totally new that's taken on, right? It's basically politics. Politics is basically religion right now. And I'm not talking 100% about one side or the other. I think it's all fucking insane, okay? Everything's being politicized, and it's being used to divide people, and they are continuing to divide and box people in. So how against division are you really? I'm sorry, we're getting all the way real in this fucking video. The Libra is coming out and being expressed through my fucking Scorpio right now, so excuse me. But so, okay, this is Jupiter saying, hey, we need to wake the fuck up. You need to see both sides of the fucking coin. You need to see the side that you're refusing to fucking see, that you're clinging to for dear life, okay? And you need to see your wounds, right? Because Chiron is trining the South Node, and in a loose trine with the moon as well. Look at your wounds. Where are these? What is getting mirrored to you? Right? When you're getting triggered, what's being mirrored back at you? What's inside of you? What inside of you is getting triggered? That's what needs to be looked at and reflected on, not blamed on the other person. Because if you keep doing that, you're never going to grow, and it's always going to be everyone else's fault, and you're never going to go anywhere, and you're always going to be miserable. But when you actually stop for a minute and you say, you know what the fuck is in me that's triggering me right now? I'm going to take the control back and quit giving it to you and giving you control over triggering me, and I'm going to figure out what the fuck is wrong with me and heal that shit, okay? The higher thing, right? You know? And honestly, like, social media has made, like, the higher road looking like a bad thing, right? But, you know, to me, it's like I would rather want to be happy, healed, fucking feeling good, health good, and all that shit than being fucking miserable all the time because I'm constantly going off on people and fucking blaming other people for my personal issues, right? Now, yeah, to a certain extent, there are, you know, people that are victims, right? And I get that. I've been a victim, okay? But I didn't want to stay a victim, okay? Because if I stay there, how's that going to help me? You know, once I got out of that situation, I didn't want to be the victim anymore, okay? And a lot of people, when they're miserable, you know, and they don't want to take accountability or responsibility or stand up, they still want to be in that mindset, and that doesn't fucking help anybody, okay? It's not helping them. So, you know what I mean? So, this is about facing your fucking wounds, feeling that shit, okay, and reflecting and seeing the fucking other side, seeing the shadow side of what's triggering you. Okay, so this may be a lunar eclipse where you get triggered and you're forced to look at the other side. You know, you are forced to actually look at what's right in front of you, or look at your perception of shit rather than continuing on with some kind of narrative because your belief system tells you to, or because that's how it's always been, or because that's what you've always believed, or because that's how it should be, because that's the right way. You know what I mean? Maybe the right way is not the right way. You know how many other times people thought shit was the right way and it was not the right way? You know, so why does it always have to be that? You know, why do you think it's the right way, and how can you take a step back and look at it differently, you know? So anyways, so yeah, another big thing that's happening is Mercury is in its shadow now. It's conjunct Venus, okay? So this is about to be a really wonky time for relationships over the next like couple months. Well, not couple months, I'm sorry. Over the next like month, okay? Because Mercury and Venus are now squaring Neptune. Okay, so this is like a lot of delusion, deception, lies coming out with the media, you know, with articles, blogs, what people are saying, announcements. This is going to be a lot of confusion, a lot of deception, okay? A lot of misunderstandings, a lot of illusions. So just be prepared. Over the next week, it's not a good idea to make any permanent big decisions. It is not a good idea to you know, sign any big contracts, to make any massive changes. I mean, with the Mercury retrograde anyway, but on top of that with Neptune, it's even more intense, and the information basically coming from wherever is not going to be, it's not going to be, it's either going to be confusing or it's not going to be accurate. It's going to be false. So just keep that in mind. This is a time where you want to intuitively feel your way through stuff. You want to ascend. You want to transcend certain situations that are keeping you down, you know, especially mental situations and situations going on when it comes to your anger, you know, when it comes to your physicality, your physical life, you know, and the things that are driving you, the influences that are driving you. And that's another thing. This is going to be a very influential time. So the things that are influencing you are going to be like, it's going to seem like things are really deceiving, you know what I mean? And or it may not seem like that. You may not see it, and so things could be very deceiving even though they're influencing you. And so just be aware of what you're being influenced by, what your mind's being influenced by, what your feelings in your heart are being influenced by, and what your habits and your actions are being influenced by, okay? Because this is not a time to be you know, just trusting in everything, you know what I mean? Take a step back and feel your way through instead of being super influenced by things, okay? Now, another thing is that relationships could get a little confusing for the collective in general, for everybody. Relationships in your life could be a little bit confusing. It could feel like you're not really sure where things are going, or there's a lot of misunderstandings, or things aren't exactly what they appear to be over the next like week, especially because Venus is going to eventually pass this. But So yeah, just pay attention to that. But yeah, the Mercury retrograde is happening for a month, and it's happening in Gemini. So you know, wherever you have Gemini in your chart, that part is about to get rocked by Mercury retrograde. A lot of new, you know, Mercury's in Gemini, and I think it's interesting because that's where the North Node is. That's where we're supposed to be looking at facts and proof and data and using our brains, using our logic, our sense of logic. But instead we are, I feel like the shadow sides of these signs are really coming up, and that's why the world's in chaos for the most part, in my opinion. But yeah, so I just feel like this Mercury retrograde is having us slow the fuck down and go back and start looking at things logically rather than continuing to be pushed by the Sagittarian narrative of like, no, we just need to believe, we just need to believe, we just need to believe, even though, you know, the facts or whatever are not necessarily adding up with what we're believing, you know what I mean? So hopefully that makes sense, and this is happening somewhere in your life or even somewhere in the world over these next few weeks, so just kind of keep that in mind. And yeah, that is basically it. I know that was like a long one for this Sagittarius lunar eclipse, but we are going to go ahead and shortly get into the signs, and yeah, let's go. What is up, Sagittarius? So starting with you guys, since it is your lunar eclipse, since a spotlight is shining on you guys for this. So this lunar eclipse is happening in your 7th house, or I'm sorry, in your 1st house. The sun's in your 7th house though, but this lunar eclipse is happening in your 1st house, okay? So this is all about you. This is all about your body. This is all about yourself, your childhood, your personality. You know, this is all about really beliefs and attachments that you are clinging to that deal with yourself, basically, that deal with your view on yourself, your place in the world, what you feel your meaning is, or what you feel you are going towards. You know, this is really a time where you are, it's going to be a massive time where you are looking at new sides of yourself or potential triggers of yourself. You know, this is a very karmic and fated time that could really alter your course or the way that you've been perceiving things, your outlook on your life and yourself in general. And so this is going to be massive, like massively a big deal for you guys. Now, Jupiter is in this lunar eclipse by squaring it. So, you know, it's going to be important to actually heal, to go within your roots, to get back to your roots, to go into a place of emotional healing, emotional comfort. That is going to be what needs to be resolved in order for you to bring these two worlds together of you versus others, okay, in some way, shape, or form. You know, who you are out in the world and who you are as a person. Have you been staying true to yourself in any way? Have you somehow gone away from yourself to stay attached to a certain view or outlook or a certain sense of righteousness that has actually that's actually not serving you anymore, you know? So this is a time of really getting back to who you are and the core of who you are, and transcending any duality within yourself and with other people. Now, Mercury is about to go retrograde in your opposite sign of Gemini, your 7th house of relationships. So this is really showing you where you may need to listen to others more, where you may need to consider more information, more other people's opinions, other people's sides, other people's thoughts, things like this. And so this is a time of like really, you know, evolution, of shedding your own, of shedding old skin that's outdated, old beliefs, old attachments, old ways of doing things, old emotions that just are no longer aligned with who you are, old habits that are no longer aligned with who you are, that are holding you back as a person, okay? And so the card we have for you guys is the 5 of Swords, okay? And this really goes with what I was just saying. Where are your views actually betraying you? Where are your attachments and your needs for security within these certain belief systems about yourself, within these certain ways of doing things about yourself, like really holding you back? Where do you need to be true to you? Where have you neglected your own truth, your own sovereignty, your own sense of morals, your own sense of virtues. You know, what is actually really important to you, and are you following that, or are you actually betraying that in some kind of way lately, Sag? So you are really getting back to the basics here of your personal self and how you feel personally about yourself. Okay, this is like really a time where it's going to be important to connect to your heart space. Are your beliefs driving people that you love, your loved ones, the people in your life that you know, otherwise are that your, you know, your tribe basically, are they driving other people away? Are you rejecting help from other people? You're putting yourself in some kind of lose-lose situation here. You know, it's like, yeah, you may think that you're right, or you may win some kind of argument because of, you know, this belief system or these things that you're holding on to, but are you actually losing too at the same time? So where do you need to consider something else? Where do you need to rise above something or let go of an old way of doing something, especially when it comes to your views and your belief system? So that is what I'm seeing for you guys, Sag. So moving on to Capricorn. So for Capricorn, this lunar eclipse is happening in your 12th house sector of that which is hidden, self-undoing. You know, anything that takes us out of society, our subconscious patterns and habits, our subconscious cycles, all of these different things. So basically, what I see here is there are some subconscious beliefs that you may be attaching yourself to, Capricorn, or that you may feel like you need in some way, or that maybe even came from your family or something along those lines. Something from the past even that needs to be reconsidered, that needs to be looked at. It's like the shadow of that is coming out. It's like shining a light on something that you haven't seen or that you're not seeing. Okay, that's like the main thing here. Where are your beliefs or your attachment to certain beliefs actually undoing what you want, actually undoing yourself? You know, and so this is a time of really reflecting on where you've closed yourself off or what you truly believe in, if it's even accurate or aligned with who you are, if your views and the things that you are putting meaning into are actually truly a part of you. You know, if they match your integrity, if they match your morals, your virtues, etc. You know, and Jupiter in your third, you know, in your house of local environment, learning, communication, where can you learn? Where can you expand your mind, your intuition, your heart? Where can you transcend these old habits, these old views, these old belief systems that are no longer actually working in your favor? They're actually working against you. You know, where can you move on from these old things by learning, by connecting more with other people, by you know, maybe even learning a new skill or having a conversation, okay, is going to be very important, okay, because this lunar eclipse over the next few weeks is really highlighting the things that you don't see about yourself and about others. It's really, something's coming out of the light here, and we even have the Three of Wands, which you can see this card's all bright, so it's like seeing something for what it's worth. It's also, I feel like, you know, moving in a different direction, moving forward in a different direction. You know, this could definitely be life-changing for you guys, Capricorn. So it's like moving forward in a different direction than what you normally originally thought. It's seeing another side of something. It's seeing the truth about something even. So that is what I'm getting for you guys, Capricorn. Okay, so moving on to Aquarius. So for Aquarius, this eclipse is happening in your 11th house sector of friends, social groups, networking, acquaintances, anybody that you kind of network with, or you know, groups, different groups of people, different organizations, different crowds of people, friends, circles, all of these types of things. So this is really shining a light and really putting on a spotlight, massive faded karmic spotlight when it comes to your friends, when it comes to your social circles, the people that you hang around. So, you know, this is a time where your beliefs could really come into the forefront, you know, where or other people's beliefs could really come into the forefront, and it could really show you certain attachments that people have to beliefs, or certain dogmas, certain views, certain outlooks, certain ideologies, when it comes to your friend circles, when it comes to the people that you associate with, the people that you connect to and network with, whether online, in person, or if you're in some kind of group or something like that, in some kind of group setting in some way, some form. So it's really showing you where certain ideologies need to be let go of, or, you know, this could bring up some kind of emotional situation with a friend and their views, their outlooks, their beliefs on certain situations. And, you know, this could also challenge your own kind of beliefs in some way as well. Or it could be an attachment to your beliefs that are being mirrored back to you through other people. Now, something that I see here for you guys, Aquarius, is with Jupiter in your second, this is all about really getting back to what you value, really getting back to what's important to you, really transcending these ideologies, you know, these different things that could maybe be actually, you know, that could maybe actually be holding you back. Or, you know, you could also be like helping a friend with some kind of belief system or ideology, or helping a friend learn in some way through your own experience, through the things that you have to offer. Somehow this is transcending through what you have to offer, your values, what is important to you, what you put value in, your feelings, etc. So the card that we have for you guys is the Page of Wands here for these next couple weeks. So this is about understanding new things, learning new things, learning new ideas, learning new ideologies, you know, the messenger as well. So you could be a messenger for somebody, or somebody could be a messenger for you. So listen to other people around this time. Try not to cling to something too much, like be able to let things go around this time. It's going to be really big for Aquarius. So okay, moving on to Pisces. So for Pisces, this eclipse is happening in your 10th house sector of career, public achievements, public goals, your legacy, the things that you want to build in life, anything that you do in the public eye or out in the world, you know, anything, any goals or things that you have that you're doing when it comes to, you know, it's obviously like not your personal life, like, you know, where you do things like personally or at home or with family or behind the scenes. It's like what you do out in the world, and that's why it rules like your career. It also rules over authority figures. So these are things that you could see coming up, but this is really certain beliefs. It's showing you where you need to let go of certain beliefs or ideologies, outlooks, views, kind of like moralistic ideologies that you have or that you're clinging to, that deal with the way that you view the world. And this could also come up within your career or with authority figures, okay? I'm definitely seeing an authority figure energy here with the Queen of Wands. Where do you need to let go of some kind of belief or ideology that's holding you back in terms of what you want to do out in the world, of what you're passionate about? You know, is the world or the public or some kind of belief or ideology that, you know, they are, I don't know, something going on with the beliefs, the public ideologies, like I was just saying, but is there some kind of clash there? You know what I mean? Or, does something need to be let go of because it's actually preventing you from your goals? It's actually preventing you from what you want to do, your passions, where you find meaning and purpose out in the world. So yeah, you're definitely going to see an attachment to some kind of belief or ideology, whether in career, with authority figures, with yourself, when it comes to your life goals, your legacy, what you want to leave behind. Now, this is squaring Jupiter in your sign. So this is about not letting other people influence your outlooks, your beliefs, etc. This is about staying true to yourself and transcending maybe other people's views or beliefs or ideologies. Looking at the higher picture here, like looking at the bigger picture, looking at it from a higher angle, and really allowing yourself to stay true to yourself, stay true to your feelings, your emotions, your intuition, even in the face of authority figures or even in the face of people out in the world that you know, maybe are angry or pushing their beliefs or ideologies on you, expand, grow, and learn. You know what I mean? And when I say look at the bigger picture, I don't mean to say like, oh, well, I'm right and you're wrong and I'm just gonna ignore you. You know what I mean? I mean, like, actually consider what they're saying, but if they're coming at you in an aggressive way, then yeah, you can remove yourself from the situation. But just like, consider what people are saying, consider what beliefs are your own, or what beliefs the world has like influenced you to basically move into. You know, are these beliefs mine with it squaring Jupiter in your first house, or are they the world's? You know, do I need to believe this to fit into the world, or to get acceptance from people of authority, or for my reputation? You know what I mean? Like, this is really big about reputation too. So where are you clinging to something for reputation or for acceptance when it comes to the world, other people, authority? And where do you need to let go of that? You know what I mean? So that is what I'm seeing here for you, Pisces. Okay, so moving on to Aries. So for Aries, we have this lunar eclipse happening in your 9th house sector of belief systems and things like that. Belief systems, higher learning, higher education. Sorry, I was concentrating on the cards. Higher education, you know, travel. Where do you find meaning and purpose in life, basically, you know? And so this eclipse is really bringing out those things for you, Aries. Your belief systems are really being shined a light on right now. That doesn't sound right, sorry. So it's almost like the shadow side of what you believe is being shown to you, and where you're attached to certain belief systems that you need to let go of, where it's like very karmic, or where you need to get out of your comfort zone, okay? It's showing you what you need to let go of in terms of your views, your belief systems, your ideologies, your philosophies that are no longer working, okay? Where you need to maybe kind of change something, where you need to kind of make alterations here, you know? And it's squaring Jupiter in your 12th house sector. You know, what needs to be let go of from the past that needs to end? What is actually undoing yourself by believing in it? You know, what's actually harming you or going against you by believing in it? What old patterns or habits is this really, you know, is this really bringing up by believing in this? You know what I mean? Like, there's some kind of belief system, outlook, ideology, something that's getting brought up here that you're attached to, that's also attached to old karmic belief systems that's subconsciously bringing you down in some way, okay? And so this is like a big one for you guys, Aries. Where do you need to let go of things, okay? So let's get a card for Aries really quick. Okay, so we have the Hanged Man here. So where do you need to let go? Like I was saying, where do you need to surrender? Right? Where do you need to surrender? Where do you need to look at another side? Where do you need to let go of something? Now, this could be also almost like cause and effect situation, because the Hangman comes after justice. So justice makes the ruling. The Hangman is, you know, the effect from that. So this could also be like, you know, where you are very caught up in the need for some kind of justice or some kind of you know, something, and basically, or some kind of belief system because you feel it's right, you know, and it's like, no, you need to look at this in a different way. You need to wake up something in your mind because it's not how it seems, or, you know, you could also be, because you did something, you could be kind of stuck in the effect from doing that. So you want to be very aware around this time about what you're partaking in, what you're believing in, what you're pushing, what you are, you know, doing, or what you're saying even, and where you need to see some kind of higher purpose, which could be a little bit harder for you guys to see something higher, Aries. I'm not going to lie, because Jupiter's in your 12th in the house that's hidden from you. So this is about digging deep. This is about looking in the hidden places. This is about awakening to belief systems that are putting you in a state of being stuck, that are actually working against you, like I was saying. So Anyways, that's what I'm getting for Aries. All right, Taurus, so this lunar eclipse is happening for you guys in your 8th house sector of Sagittarius, which deals with where we feel vulnerable, our vulnerabilities, our fears, our traumas, like where we, where rapid change happens, but we don't want to let go, the things that we don't want to let go of. It also deals with financial exchanges, debt, other people's resources and money. So any money that we're getting from outside sources or that we're sharing with other people or other sources. So this is a time where it's really bringing up some really deep stuff that could be life-changing for Taurus, okay? So yeah, finances, any resources shared, like I was saying. And so this is really shining a light on what needs to change in terms of things that you are clinging to, these certain belief systems, these certain shadowy traits that you're clinging to that are feeding into a belief system or feeding into an outlook or an ideology on something, or feeding into certain actions that you're taking that need to be reconsidered or that need to be let go of, okay? This is probably going to be a pretty deep one for Taurus, very karmic. So, this is also addressing loss, I feel I'm getting right now, some kind of loss maybe, and whether it's from the past, it may be from the past. Now, this is squaring Jupiter in your 11th house, though, and Jupiter, I feel like this is about, this is definitely dealing with other people, okay? And so what I'm really getting here is that your solution to this is finding a way to heal with other people, to connect with other people that have maybe been through that experience or that can help you in some way. There are opportunities there for you to be helped if you allow it, okay? If you open up, if you talk about issues that you may be going through, I feel like this can really, really help. So it's really, finding a higher viewpoint in terms of connecting with others, in terms of really focusing on your hopes and your aspirations and your wishes. And we have the Knight of Cups here coming out for this. So that's really what I'm getting. Reach out for help. Allow people to help you. Allow, if you get some kind of opportunity or invitation to do something or to connect with other people, take it. There's something really fated and karmic here that you need to learn from it or that you need to get from it emotionally that is going to help you. Okay, so yeah, this is, I feel like this is also letting go of old belief systems in order to really wake up to maybe a new tribe or a new group of people that all feel the same way or that believe or look at or that, have or maybe very spiritual in some way, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But this is waking up on a collective scale in some way for Taurus, waking up to something collectively or waking up to new goals, new aspirations, new views, and letting go of old attachments to beliefs and ideologies that are holding you back but that are very deep rooted, okay? So that is what I'm getting for Taurus. Tons of healing there for Taurus, okay? All right, so moving on to Gemini. This lunar eclipse for you is happening in your opposite sign of Sagittarius. So this is really dealing with relationships. This is dealing with other people, how you interact with other people, where you like to, be seen, acknowledged in the world. But this lunar eclipse, full moon lunar eclipse is on the south node in your 7th house. So this is really, this mainly for a lot of Geminis is definitely relationship related and will be about other people in your life, especially like marriages and committed relationships. So you may see somebody that you're with going through something or having to let go of some kind of old attachment to an ideology, or it could be you. So it could either be you or your partner, but there's definitely a sense here of letting something go when it comes to an old ideology or an old outlook, an old belief, old ways of doing something. There's some kind of sweeping away of that. Now it is squaring Jupiter. This eclipse is squaring Jupiter, and this is in your 10th house. So this could be about your future or about the world, about career as well. You know, career could be somewhere in this as well. And also, you know, Mercury is retrograding. We're about to be retrograding in your 1st house, Gemini, and it's also squaring Neptune in your 10th. So this is kind of a lot of confusion about the future right now and about what the future holds and how to kind of transcend your situation or a certain relationship situation, a certain commitment or something in your life. And I feel like, you know, it's really about trying to find some kind of hope for your future, something to look forward to. And as I'm saying that, we have the Page of Wands coming out here. Something to look forward to, something to look forward to for yourself, okay? You know, and something to do that you feel is going to expand or grow or make a difference with connecting to other people in the world. Can also be very helpful around this time, you know, sharing some kind of message, especially. We have the Magician at the bottom of the deck, so also really using your skills in some way, you know, like really honing in on your skill set, honing in on your individuality. But this full moon is really bringing a spotlight on the shadow side of certain relationships in your life and what needs to be healed there or what needs to be let go of there, okay? So that is what I'm seeing for Geminis. Moving on to Cancer. So for Cancer, this lunar eclipse is happening in your 6th house sector of work, daily routine, your health, your diet, all of these different types of things in your life. You know, the things that you do on a day-to-day basis that seem rather mundane. Basically, it also can be somewhat misfortunate. And yeah, so basically, you know, you are seeing, this could be like an argument with somebody at work. If you work in a job with other people, there could be some kind of touchiness or sensitivities or feelings that come up with people around belief systems. There could be new rules implemented, new guidelines that seem very like wrong or morally wrong in some way. You know, belief systems or certain ideologies or viewpoints could be affecting your day-to-day work, your health, your day-to-day routines, whether they're yours or other people's. Okay, so that's basically the thing here. Now, where do you need to let go of something that you've done religiously every day, or that, you know, has happened religiously every day due to some kind of belief system, basically, that you're attached to? Okay, whether it's your belief system or whether it's other people's, like I said. But basically, you know, this is the moon, which is the ruler of your sign, and it is in the 6th house. So it could be you, you know, or it could be other people that are implementing these things that are like hurting you, where you need to let go of something in your day-to-day life. Now, it is squaring Jupiter in the 9th house, okay? So this is education, educating yourself or others to a higher viewpoint, looking at things from a higher viewpoint, going back to school, expanding your knowledge in some way, expanding your outlook in some way, okay? Really allowing yourself to look at things from a much higher perspective and connect with other people through that higher perspective. So we have the King of Wands, so I really do feel like it is a work situation, somebody at work or something like that that is maybe implementing new rules. I really feel like I'm kind of getting an authority vibe here that go against your beliefs, or that are all about their beliefs or pushing beliefs onto you or something like that, where it just feels like maybe morally incorrect or goes against certain ideologies or something that you have. Or like I said, it could also be you, where you need to reflect on these things, okay? So yeah, but that is what I'm getting for you guys, Cancer. Hopefully that resonates. We are going to move on to Leo. So for Leo, this solar eclipse is happening in the 5th house. So I'm a Leo rising, so this is me too. So this is happening in our 5th house. Sorry, cards keep falling out. So this is all about children. This is all about our creativity. This is all about what we do for fun, where we find pleasure and meaning and purpose in our life. You know, we find a lot of meaning and purpose in what we do for fun and our pleasure. And we have, you know, certain ideologies and beliefs about, you know, like our pleasure and our children and this, that, and the other. We find pleasure in learning and educating and, you know, those types of things, helping people grow and find their meaning as well. So what I'm seeing here, Leo, is that with the lunar eclipse in the 5th house, this could be something that comes up regarding belief systems, moral views, ideologies, things like this regarding children or your kids, okay? I'm also kind of getting here, this could be about like school with Sagittarius that deals with education. Sorry, there's a child going by as I'm talking about the children. That could deal with education. Yeah, so this is kind of like something karmic that is happening here, or something that needs to possibly be let go of in some way, okay? It could be some kind of belief, or this could also be some kind of event that happens around what you love, or something that you used to find pleasure in that you no longer do, or some kind of event that happens dealing with your kids that needs to be looked at or addressed in some kind of way. It's like something that you're attached to, or the shadow side of something is coming up here. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing here. We have the Strength card. Okay, so what I'm really getting here, Leo, is that it is a time where you are really coming into your power. Okay, I'm kind of getting an energy of like feeling tested or being tested. I'm kind of also getting an energy of like pushing you to something that has a higher purpose or meaning for you than what you've been doing previously. Now, also with Jupiter, this lunar eclipse is squaring Jupiter in your 8th, and so this could be somewhat financial. This could be facing some kind of fear or vulnerability as well, but really working on some kind of healing for yourself, and some kind of healing for maybe your children in some way, or your own parenting in some way as well if you are a parent. But yeah, so this is definitely finding some kind of deep-rooted healing, allowing yourself to feel your feelings even if they're deep and uncomfortable. Yeah, so that's really what I'm getting here, you know. It's like having the strength to walk through something even though you may be scared, or even though you know, it's not something that you've done before. You have the strength to do it, and you know, you have the perseverance to do it. And yeah, so that is basically what I'm seeing here for Leo. So moving on to Virgo. So for Virgo, this lunar eclipse is happening in the 4th house sector of home and family, your roots, you know, where you reside, your comfort zone, your personal life. So this is probably going to really bring up some childhood stuff for Virgos, some home or family related stuff, obviously, maybe something from the past that needs to be addressed, something very, very karmic or very deep as well, okay, that may need to be let go of. It could bring up topics around your parents, but especially the mother, okay, themes of the mother, or certain patterns or habits that have influenced you from your mother, or certain beliefs, ideologies, and views that need to be looked at in regards to how you view the world from the way that you were born, raised, or something along those lines, okay? That may be karmic and may need to be let go of in some way, or there could be some kind of situation that comes up that kind of forces you to look at the shadow side of this in some way. Okay, so this is squaring Jupiter in your 7th house, so this could be affecting your relationships with other people, you know, whether romances or whatever, but your beliefs, views, and ideologies in terms of, you know, that are very deep-rooted, like whether, you know, you may have this kind of like self-righteous or moralistic kind of ideology or way of looking at a certain situation in your life that is affecting your relationships that you may need to take a deeper look at, or that you may need to you know, let go of in some kind of way. So what I'm seeing here for you, Virgo, is the Three of Wands. So basically you are, like I said, taking a look at the past. Notice his back is turned. And I'm really kind of focused on that here. It's kind of like, you know, you need to look at the past before you can finally turn your back on it, right? You can't turn your back on the past without first you looking at the past, right? And so that's kind of the energy that I'm getting from this here. We also have the Six of Swords on the bottom. Okay, so this is really about moving on from a way of looking at the world, a way of looking at something that has affected your mind and your emotions when it comes to others, and you know, your connections with others in some way. So that is what I'm getting for Virgo. Moving on to Libra. I know it's getting dark, sorry. I'm almost done, so I'm not going to turn on the light for 2 more sides, sorry. But so moving on to Libra. So for Libra, this lunar eclipse is happening in your 3rd house of your environment, communication, your mind, your surroundings, the things that you do on a day-to-day basis, the errands that you run, your schedules, but also your skill set, and expressing yourself. And so this is a time where your opinions and your ideas and your perception, your views on things, you know, are being called into question, where you're seeing another side, or you're seeing how you're emotionally attached to viewing something in a very possibly dogmatic way that you need to let go of in some kind of way, okay? Or that needs to be called into question, that you need to look at in a new way. Where is it getting a little bit too religious, or where's the outlook coming from maybe something else rather than yourself? You know, where do you need to rethink something, relook at something, you know, kind of even let go of a certain way of looking at something, a certain belief system that's really fueling your perception on your life, or on other people, or on the world, or on your environment, your local community. You know what I mean? Also your siblings or distant relatives, you know, could come up here as well with this lunar eclipse. So yeah, basically this is a time where you are really needing to take a look at certain habits or emotional attachments to viewpoints that you have that are maybe actually really holding you back or affecting you, and may not be right or what you thought they were. Now with the with Jupiter in the 6th house squaring this for you, sorry, someone's setting off fireworks, but yeah, this is a time to get more in touch with your body, your health. This could really help you heal from this, to maybe learn more about your body, or to do something on a day-to-day basis that's going to expand your viewpoints, your knowledge, that's going to help you find meaning, because the way that maybe you're finding meaning now isn't working, or isn't aligned with really who you are. So yeah, this is, you know, this could also be bringing up questions of things in the workplace or something where you need to kind of transcend, okay? You need to kind of try to transcend, maybe help other people, or try to serve other people in some way around this time. That could be very beneficial. So moving on to Scorpio, last but not least. So for Scorpio, this lunar eclipse is happening in your 2nd house sector, which deals with your values, your money, your resources, the things that you have. Sorry, someone's setting off fireworks. So all of the things that you possess, and the things that are important to you, okay? So this is a time where you are really reflecting on your attachments, you know, your needs, the things that you think that you need, especially in terms of your outlooks, ideologies, belief systems, you know, all of these types of things, what you assign meaning to, okay? This is a time of letting some of that go in some way, shape, or form. This could also be a time where, you know, this is really looking at your attachments. Like, what are you attached to? What are you dependent on that actually may not be helping, or that you may need to let go of in some way, right? And on top of that, we have this squaring Jupiter in the 5th house. So yeah, it's a time of like kind of getting out of your comfort zone and connecting with others, you know, doing things that are going to connect you more, instead of worried so much about, you know, the things that you think that you need, especially that may be physical. You know, worrying more about your emotional health and your emotional side, and the things that you do that bring you pleasure and joy. Okay, now this could also be where maybe it's probably not a good time to purchase something like huge, I would say, just for pleasure. I mean, with the moon on the south node, that would make me a little bit nervous, but I will say Jupiter is in a good spot, so it may not be so bad if you are trying to purchase something pretty big around this time. But Mercury is about to go retrograde, so it's another kind of so if you are purchasing something pretty big around this time, I would just kind of make sure that you are not overdoing something or over exaggerating or being unrealistic, you know, things like that. But this is definitely a time where it's time to let go of something, or it's time to kind of transcend a certain situation that you've held on to for a while, if that makes sense. So that is what I'm seeing for Scorpio, and that basically concludes this video. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys, and yeah, I will see you guys all in my other videos. Bye.